Turn the sound down. When this guy started talking about his How to Build an Empire books, when I turned the sound down, I ain't gonna fucking listen now. I'm Judah Krishnamurti. You don't have to listen early. You get it. Okay. Thanks, Judah. Whoopie doopie. You genius. Democracy. Democracy is where people get into a large group and they have a vote over what they want to do. Okay. And then the mob rules through a mob decision, right? Democracy now, right? Like Haile Selassie used to refer to it as demomockery, right? You take the king and you let him, you put up a vote and say, we can vote whether or not to accept Jesus or accept Barbaras, to accept love or the addiction to conflict over money. It's entirely up to you, right? Free will, as you guys perceive it, right? You have a choice. You can sit there and choose self-destruction and to be the devil and Satan, or you can submit to faith in God, understand the natural laws provided for the beauty of our lives, and be like the king, me. Or you can listen to this Daniel Imwar guy talking from Northwestern University there. Go Wildcats! Hey, buy some purple and black merchandise. We need more money here. And then we can elect to see if we change the name of the team. No, we're going to keep our artichokes. Okay, but we're going to vote to change the colors to red and blue instead of pink and baby blue. Almost got beat up by a football. Well, he would have got his ass kicked. But I got threatened to be beat up by a football player on the Scottsdale football team at a movie theater, explaining this to one of my friends who was homosexual. So no, they're called the artichokes, yeah. Because it was Scottsdale. It's like the Beverly Hills wannabes of the Phoenix Valley. And they thought that, football was like aggressive and fascist and all that. So they put in sports teams. And then they put up a vote to the name of the teams and the colors of the teams. Okay. For the sports teams at Scottsdale Community College. And it was back in the 60s or 70s, early 70s, late 60s or whatever. So they decided to name the team the Artichokes and make their colors pink and baby blue. So if they had a football team. So the football team would be the Artichokes and their colors would be pink and baby blue, right? And I explained this in this football, but no, we're the Artichokes, but our colors are red and blue. I said, I know that. Okay. I'm just saying initially when the team came out, okay, they later changed their colors to red and blue. You're not listening. He was just angry. He was a football player. Go hit that guy. I need more money, right? We going to vote on this? Yes. Democracy now. Go Barbaras, right? Okay. So this kid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's afraid of his own shadow. He has a bank account. Okay, with his bank account, he pays his bills. And then he hides in this place he calls a dwelling that he says he owns because he has a piece of paper that says he owns it, right? This Daniel Inwar guy, right? This How to Build an Empire. You building an empire, Daniel? Do you feel like a coward? Do you feel like the crazy old lady on Democracy Now! Saying, hey, I'm talking, but I don't make any sense whatsoever. Demomockery now, right? So you be like, democracy is dying. Democracy is already dead. Democracy is voting over conflict over money. You murder each other through democracy. Okay, are you a constitutional republic? There you go. Who was it that crucified Jesus Christ? It was a republic. Thank you, Erwin. Right? Do you understand? Okay. So when you scientifically examine the evidence of your governments and you're in order, okay, to maintain a government, you need business. And business, you need to be in conflict over manipulation of the resources to keep the business going. If you want to know how I really feel, get the cameras rolling, get the action going. Baby, I use the word love in a way that's unreal. So take me where you want to, me in your heart, you still, I'm just fixing lyrics. More, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? How do you like your love? That's what they call it. They refer to it as love. Okay. I've heard thousands of crazy brain chemical addicts on TV and on social media, since I started getting online in 2009 at Sierra Vista saying, hey, I told these people, let's live the Lord's Prayer, and they refused to do so. And they're your nation's heroes and your scientists and problem solvers here at Fort Huachuca. Best Wi-Fi in the whole world, right? And I have intelligent conversations with people every time I go to the store. Okay. And they still have trouble grasping it. Those two little girls, when she said, "Oh my God," and I explained it to her, they were both like, "Okay." And they were very cute. They're adorable. And they were grasping. The one little girl, she goes, "I'll have to think about what I say before I say it then. That's very important." I was like, yes, she was so adorable. Well, if I was 30 years younger, I'd be like, "Would you like to go to dinner sometime and maybe talk or get a coffee or something? And then we'll pay these crazy people money and then think about maybe someday we won't have to pay any crazy people money and we can actually like to get to know you and sing Spanky and Heart Gang songs." Yeah. Are those your pink slippers? You ever heard that song from the beginning with it? But I'd like to get to know you. I think it's a really cool tune. I especially love the little crescendo thing when they sit there. "Once I thought I found her, build my word around her. But I'd like to get to know you, yes I would." And you can't get to know people when you're engaged in conflict because of people's egotistical perception of they think they can. Okay, you can't, because if you keep doing it, eventually you can't anymore. Now we all live and we all die. Okay, we all die at the end of life, right? The moment we're born, we begin dying, right? But how many of us really get to actually love one another while living? Okay. Jesus tried. Look what you guys did to him. Muhammad tried. Look what you did to him. Okay. Judah Krishnamurti spent almost his entire life trying to talk you into loving one another, and look what you did to him. You turned him into a successful author and a successful speaker, and you guys also consider Chris Hitchens a successful author and speaker. Okay. And Chris Hitchens and Judah Krishnamurti, when you hear them talk, are nothing alike, right? But Richard Dawkins, who claims the richest people are crazy, doesn't ever mention Judah Krishnamurti, but says one of the greatest orators and writers of all time was Chris Hitchens. You're like, that man was a sociopath. He was sick and he was disgusting and he was broken. He was a broken human being. He died from cancer because of stress in a toxic environment that he was so particularly excessively conditioned and trained in that he couldn't save his own life from an early demise from cancer because he couldn't stop arguing over what he thought was correct from his askew perspective, right? Krishnamurti died from chemical poisoning and stress in his environment in his 90s from prostate cancer. Because he spent his whole life saying, "Guys, why don't you just do the whole forgive and trespass and empathy and respect thing and not have to ever listen to people like Chris Hitchens talk again if you don't want to, because he doesn't have to sell a book to pay extortion and live here." Right? Okay. They don't listen to this guy. He's selling books to pay extortion to live here, and then he thinks he knows what he's talking about. Okay. Go Wildcats. We're building a new football stadium. We know. I thought you should just renovate the old one. The old one looked really cool. The artistic style and stuff was really neat. Just renovate it, or don't keep up with the Joneses. Just say, "Hey, we've been doing this for a long time. Now we're doing it because we love the Lord's Prayer and one another instead of for Roman genocidal philanthropy." Republic. Democracy. Okay, guys? You guys can try to censor me, but your technology is getting more intelligent than you, and every time you move to do that, it's rooks too. If they were right, I'd agree, but it's them they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I know I have to go away. No, just stay, understand the Lord's Prayer, and live it. And stop selling records for money to pay your extortion to live here and calling yourself a Muslim because you don't want to be a Christian, but a Christian and a Muslim are the same if you understand the applications of physics and linguistics. Right? Okay, how to hide an empire. Okay, guys, love you.